Welcome back, my friends, to your recaps. Today I'm going to explain thriller crime movie called Girl in the Basement. The story starts with our protagonist Sara and her father Dawn rushing Marie to the hospital because she has trouble breathing. Sara starts panicking when Marie stops breathing. She urges Dawn to drive faster. When they reach the hospital, Dawn specifically instructs Sara to stay quiet. In the hospital, the paramedics rush to help Marie. They give her oxygen and try to save her life, but all they get is a flat heart line on the monitor. The story goes back 20 years earlier to a seemingly idyllic family dinner scene. Sara and her sister Amy are having dinner with their parents, Dawn and Irene. The mood on the table changes as Sara's father shows his oppressive side, not allowing her to go to a party and showing his reign over the family. That night, Sara sneaks out with her boyfriend Chris. Her parents later discover her room empty, and her father refers to her as a problem. At the party, Sara has fun dancing with Chris, who later sings her a song he wrote especially for her. They express their love for each other and kiss. Sara comes home in the morning. Dawn has been waiting for her all night. They fight, and Sara says that the moment she turns 18, she will leave the family for good. Sara talks to her mother and sister about her plans to travel all around the country while working to support herself. Her dad overhears the conversation and goes to the basement, where he reveals the existence of a secret room behind a bookshelf. 3 months later, Sara graduates. In a conversation Sara has with her mom, it is revealed that her father has been spending more time in the basement, his man cave. When Irene leaves the house, Dawn tricks Sara into the basement as she helps him carry a box there. He takes her into the secret room, telling her it is a bomb shelter made by the previous owner. He locks her in the room and she screams in a panic, calling for help. Unfortunately, nobody can hear her as the shelter is soundproof. Her mother, worried about her whereabouts, calls the police. On the 4th day, her father visits her and coldly explains the logistics of her captivity. From now on, she will have to earn everything she gets, even the clean, ventilated air. Before he leaves, Dawn is taking advantage of Sara. A cop visits the family, saying that she has likely left for her planned long trip across the country. Her mother does not believe that Sara would ever leave home without saying goodbye, especially before her 18th birthday. Alone and afraid, Sara reminisces about her night spent with Chris as the days go by. Chris comes to the house. Dawn lies to him and tells him that after graduation, Sara ran away with her childhood neighbor Steve. On the 21st day of captivity in the basement, she celebrates her 18th birthday, and her dad brings her a cake and a red nightgown as a gift. She asks for a clock, and he tells her that she has to do something for him so that he does something for her. When she disobeys him, he beats her. Almost a year after her captivity, she is revealed to be pregnant, and her water breaks. All alone, she gives birth to a girl named Marie. 4 years later, Sara is pregnant again. Dawn lives a secret double-live one with his wife Irene and daughter Amy, and another in the basement with Sara and her daughter Marie. Still worried about the whereabouts of Sara, Irene wants to hire a private investigator, but Dawn firmly says no. As a gift for being good, Dawn brings a TV in the basement for Sara and Marie. Later on, Sara has a second baby, a baby boy, Michael. One night, Sara makes her terrifying life story into a bedtime story filled with princesses and knights that she tells to her kids. Chris visits the house again, asking around for Sara. Her sister, Amy, tells him the truth, realizing that Dawn lied to Chris. They talk about how horrible he has always been to Sara. Amy is afraid that Dawn might have killed her, citing his personality and bad temper in the past. To make the time go by, Sara creates imaginary adventures for her children to help them forget the outside world. In the meantime, Dawn is confronted with his lies by Amy and Irene. A horrible fight ensues. Furious, Irene yells that she'll do everything in her shit power to find her daughter. During their fight, Dawn drops his keys on the armchair. Amy takes the keys and goes around to the basement to look for clues. Dawn finds her, gets his keys back, and fights with Amy. She is mad, afraid, and blames him for causing Sara's disappearance as time passes by. Sara has another baby boy who she names Thomas. Being nice and calm, Sara convinces Dawn to take the third baby upstairs. She persuades him by explaining that there is no room for another baby in the basement, and that she doesn't have the time to take care of it. The baby is left on the house's porch to be found by Irene. In a heartfelt note in the baby basket, seemingly written by Sara, she writes that this is her baby, and that she wants it to be raised by Irene. In the letter, she explains that she and her boyfriend don't have the means to take care of the baby. In the basket, there is also another note from Sara, pleading for help. Unfortunately, Dawn is the one who discovers it and assaults her again. The years go by. In captivity, the children develop an extraordinary imagination, expanding their mom's bedtime story. By now, Sara has been in the basement for 14 years. Marie has grown into a beautiful young girl that one night tries out makeup. When Dawn shows interest in her beauty, Sara begs Dawn to leave her daughter alone. She does not want her to be assaulted. In return, Vaughn shuts down the power which controls the clean air. While gasping for air, Marie expresses her concerns about never meeting anyone and having no friends. Throughout the conversation, we realize that Marie has no idea that Don is both her grandfather and father. Now grown, Thomas finds his grandmother crying in his mother's bedroom. Irene misses her daughter and talks to Thomas about how magnificent Sara is. At the same time in the basement, raindrops start dropping from the ceiling. Sara climbs up to discover a damp roof. Using a spoon, she digs her way to the surface where she flashes a distressed signal. A neighbor notices it and tells Dawn about it rather than checking it out. Dawn beats Sara, who is pregnant again. The beating causes her to lose her baby as she sobs from the pain. Sara has a stillbirth, and Dawn buries the baby in the yard. Dawn goes to the basement and complains. He also praises Thomas, who is now a strong athlete. When Marie and Michael ask when they are going to be led into the outside world, Dawn blames Sara in her bad behavior. She is the reason they are down there, trapped, pressured by her children's endless questions about their life. In a fit of rage, Sara shouts and demolishes all their furniture. Exhausted, she falls to the ground, remembering her happiest moments with Chris. Her children put a blanket on her and clean up their home. They apologize to her. Emotional Sara tells them that they're old enough to hear the true story behind their life in captivity. So far, they knew that Dawn lives upstairs with their Aunt Irene to help take care of Thomas. Sick of all the lies, she tells them everything, starting from the fact that her life is the inspiration of their favorite bedtime story. Gently, she explains that Dawn is her dad, as well as their dad. The moment Murray finds out the painful truth, she has a severe asthma attack. The children now feel that there is something wrong with them. Sara reassures them, telling them that she loves them and that Dawn is the only one to be blamed. A year later, another incident occurs between Dawn and Michael, after Dawn insults Sara and her appearance. The food for the basement is being rationed as Dawn is having trouble at work. Soon, he loses his job. Facing a foreclosure, Dawn tries to suffocate the family in the basement. He connects the car exhaust fumes with the air vent. He gets interrupted by Thomas in the garage, who unknowingly saves their lives, while Dawn and his family have a fun barbecue in the yard. Marie is sick, struggling to breathe. Dawn refuses to take Marie to the hospital. Sara begs for his help. She promises not to say a word about anything. Dawn agrees. Michelle is left behind. 20 years of captivity have passed, and we are now at the beginning of the film, when Morris is being rushed to the hospital. Sara is extremely worried about Marie's life and feels truly relieved when the doctors save her life. When the nurse asks for more medical history, she is told that Marie is homeschooled and has only been treated with natural remedy. Sara slowly scans the hospital seeking a way out, but she looks tired and lost. In an attempt to escape, Sara spills water on the medical forms and separates from Dawn. Seconds before Dawn gets to her, Sara reaches the nurse, confessing she needs help. A police officer goes to talk to Dawn. The police arrest him. Sara announces this to Marie. They are safe and free. The house is filled with police who free Michael as well. Irene and Thomas are devastated when they see Michael gasping for air as they take him out of the basement. Don sees everything from the back of the police vehicle. Later on, during a beautiful summer's day, Marie, Thomas, and Michael play in the countryside, while Sara, Irene, and Amy watch over them from the house's porch. Marie notices someone coming from the driveway. It's Chris. He arrives on his motorcycle. Together with Sara, they go for a walk. He feels sorry for not trying harder to find her, and for believing in her father's BS story. He gives her a gift, a pink motorcycle helmet he bought for her at the age of 18 when they were planning to embark on a journey. Finally happy, together they go on their long-awaited motorcycle ride. Please, if you like my content, support me with a like and subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day, my friend.